Oregon and Washington with eXp Realty and the Fowler Property Group. Welcome back to Real Estate Tuesdays. So the buyer-broker agreement, or the BBA as we call it in real estate, is an agreement between a buyer and a broker or an agent for compensation, duration, that kind of thing. So typically you would see this sometimes the first meeting, usually at the second meeting of, okay, we've agreed to work together. Here is my process, my procedure. This contract is going to, I'm starting work for you, so this contract obligates you to use me as your agent for X number of days, months, whatever. And this is my compensation, whether it's paid by the seller or you. This is what I'm entitled to at the close of our transaction. That's the BBA. It basically protects us and it protects you as well, so that you are aware of your potential financial obligation, as well as how long you are obligated to work with us. Because yes, it has happened where clients start working with one agent and then they decide, mid-transaction, or not mid-transaction, but midway through the process, that, oh, I'm at open house and this agent's already here and we want to write an offer, so we're going to have this agent write us an offer. It gets accepted, and then we get down to, closing time, and the other agent comes in and says, hey, wait a minute, you were working with me. I'm entitled to your commission, and now a buyer owes 2 commissions. You don't want that to happen. So the BBA just kind of outlines that for you. And here is why it's important now more than ever. In previous years, the BBA has always been an optional agreement. Some brokers or agents use it. Some do not. I have tended to be on the does not side of that. I use it for specific clients, especially if I have no previous relationship with them. Then I will get it out. But if I have a personal relationship with a client, I've never felt the need to do it, because I don't want to obligate you to work with me if you don't want to work with me. That just creates a miserable situation. The reason that we are doing that now in Washington State, Washington State is going to be the first state in the country to require all agents and clients use a BBA agreement or a BBA. This is because most of you guys are aware of the recent NAR lawsuit regarding compensation structure. It's essentially signaling that more buyers may be on the hook to pay for their agents rather than having the seller pay for their agent for them. It's not going to come out of the total fee at the end. It's going to be out of your pocket, out of your closing costs. That's not a set in stone thing. It's going to be a negotiable factor, and that's going to be a separate video as far as how we can potentially arrange for the seller to pay your fees. But in preparation for the buyer having to pay their own fees, Washington is requiring this as a kind of a transparency issue, making sure that buyers are very aware that they may be on the hook for X number of dollars at the close of this transaction. Like I said, Washington is the first. I don't expect it to be the only state to do that. Oregon and California, Washington, we all typically keep our things pretty uniform, our paperwork, our procedures. So I expect Oregon and California will probably follow suit pretty quickly. That being said, it's not yet required in Oregon and in Oregon and California, but for my clients, it will be required. Why? Because I like to keep things cohesive. So since I'm obligated to do it in Washington, I'm just going to obligate my clients in Oregon as well, because that keeps our procedures rolling through very nicely, and it keeps everybody on the same page. So whether you're buying in Oregon or Washington this year, you will be required to sign a BBA with me. I don't want that to scare clients off, because here's the thing, I can waive the BBA. If we get to working together and you reach out to me after 30 days and say, hey, you know what, we're really sorry, we just don't think you're the best fit for us, or hey, we just found out one of our really good friends is now a real estate agent and we'd really like to work with them. Guess what? If I'm not super invested in your deal already, if we're not under contract or moving along quickly, I'm going to say, hey, no worries, I will release you from the BBA. Here's a signature, please sign. We're both agreeing to terminate this relationship. It's done. You're not going to be obligated to work with me for a year if you don't want to, because I don't want to work with you either. If you don't want to work with me, I don't want to work with you. That's just the way it is. None of us want a miserable transaction. We want this to be smooth and happy and successful. So, yes, you'll sign a BBA. I don't want to say I'm releasing everybody from BBAs, because that's not going to be the case. Like I said, if you come to me prior to being under contract, early on in the transaction, and say, hey, we want to make a change, totally fine. If I've been working for you for 3 months and I have chauffeured you around town and I have shown you a dozen or more houses and I am researching my ass off for you, and I am doing my job, and you just decide I'm not doing it fast enough, or you're not getting, I can't find you the right house, well, I may obligate you. Only because I don't get paid for the work I've done until we close on a deal, and not being able to find you a house may not always be my fault. And that's, once again, separate video. We'll get into kind of the creating reasonable deal breakers, things like that down the road, and being realistic of what you want to buy. That's going to be a different house. But BBAs, the point of this video, they are a thing more than ever. They've always been a thing. Now they're more of a thing. And to be honest, for years we've been told we should probably start doing the BBA thing because they do entitle us to compensation and they do stop us from working for free, and they are a good business strategy. The problem is real estate has always been such a personal thing for most people that we kind of hate to put contracts in front of our friends until we have to. So BBAs going forward, for me, 100% across the board. For other agents, they may just do it on the Washington side and they may not on the Oregon side, but I expect Oregon and California to follow suit very soon. And like I said, these really do benefit you as well because they do obligate the broker to certain things to make sure that you are being well cared for. So they benefit you. So what I'm going to do is, as always, all the socials and everything are going to be in the description below, as well as a link to a Google Drive where I will post both the Oregon version and the Washington version of the buyer broker agreement. I want you guys to be able to see it because, as always, I'm all about transparency. So please read through it and let me know if you have any questions. I will likely go ahead and fill it out as my standard BBA because there are fillables, editable points in the BBA that are going to be broker and client specific. I typically do mine as a very general, this is what I do for everybody. We can make changes as needed, but this is my initial offer. So I will go ahead and fill it in and show you guys kind of what you're looking at working with me. Every broker, every agent is going to be slightly different. So just make sure that you read through it. You're aware of the terms that are being placed upon you and within the contract, and that you're aware of those going forward. Please feel free to reach out with any questions. I'll also put we'll leave them in the comments if you have any questions about the BBA, anything specific that I can do a deep dive on and kind of explain to you guys. I'm happy to do that. As always, thank you guys for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. It really helps me out as I rebuild the channel here, and hopefully it'll bring more and more people into this conversation so that we can make sure that everybody's getting the information that they need and that they want. Also, as always, feel free to leave in the comments below if you have any specific real estate questions that you guys want me to address in a specific video. I'll see you guys back here for Lifestyle Friday and again next week for another Real Estate Tuesday.